So the plan today, you see I have some plastic down and I have rebar. We're going to be pouring this slab in the crawl space. Some people call this a mud slab or a rat slab. They say rat slab because it'll keep the rats out from digging in or something like that. I don't know. And a mud slab because usually it's just poured on dirt. I talked to a builder, a friend of mine, and he said that generally these only need to be like 3.5 inches thick. My ground was really uneven and there's some odd stuff going on some of the foundation walls, so I opted to get another yard which will put it at about 5 inches thick. He also said that generally people don't put rebar in these because they're not structural, but I had a lot of this rebar left over from a job that I did, and these pieces here, this is number 5, they're cut to odd lengths, like 32 inches, and it was for a specific project that I was working on. So I figured since I had it and I don't need it for that project anymore because that project's wrapped up, I might as well throw it in. I put this plastic down. You know, this acts as a vapor barrier. You can see it's not perfect. I didn't have a moisture problem down here to begin with. The rot in the joist that I had on that side was due to a leak in a dishwasher before I bought the home, and then I think it continued a little bit afterwards. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get you guys set up. We got a pump truck coming, and I'll do a little snippet when the truck gets here, and then I'm just going to set the GoPro up probably in the corner looking down at us, give you guys a little time lapse of the concrete being pumped in here. It's actually my first time using a pump truck, and it's definitely my first time pouring concrete inside of a house. So it should be fun. We'll see how it goes. I did these footers, that footer and this footer by hand. I mixed it with my mixer outside and carried it in a 5-gallon bucket at a time, which you know, wasn't that fun, just because it's not the easiest path. I had a little ladder set up here, you know, and I've climbed down it and back outside. There's like 3 steps to get outside. It's a lot of back and forth. I think it was about maybe 20 buckets. These went down, I went down 32 inches from this ground level, which is a little overkill. The builder told me that after the fact, after I poured these, he said in a crawl space, it's not subject to free stall cycles. So generally when they pour a footing that's gonna hold up a floor beam like this, they just do 12 inches thick and make it 2 by 2. But I had a feeling that was the case, but again, this is not what I do every day. And usually when I'm doing footings, it's something that was drawn up by an engineer, so we're always going down, you know, 32 inches or more. So that's what I did. It wasn't terrible. I mean, there's a lot of rock here. I'm not too far from the Delaware River. You can see when they poured this porch over here, there's a lot of river rock in there. So I hit a lot of river rock digging down. But let me get set up, and I'll show you guys the setup when the pump truck gets here, and then I'll do a time lapse of the install of the concrete going down, I should say. All right, we got our concrete truck here. That's our pumper, and then our hose. It's a mess back here, so don't mind. We got the hose in this barrel right now because there's going to be some, I forgot what he called it, but he said it was something kind of slimy that's going to come out for the hose. It's like a hose lubricant, and then the concrete. go. The concrete is poured. What a mess though, man. It was, you can see I got walls blown out everywhere, splattered all over the place. And I don't know if you guys could tell, that was my first time ever using a concrete pump, but it was coming out and like burst. You guys, if you've used one before, let me know, is that just the way it goes? Corey was saying, he was like, man, good thing I was holding on to that hose the first shot, because it would have been pretty funny if it would have shot out of his hands and went all over the place. But yeah, that thing, it lets out a big burst at a time. So now, well, I'm probably gonna have to let it sit a little bit, and then I'm just gonna float it. I'm gonna hit it with the trowel. And it doesn't need to be perfect, just somewhat flat, and it's good. All right, it's the next day. Concrete's all set up. You see, I didn't do a greatest job finishing it, but it doesn't really matter for the crawl space. I got it pretty smooth, enough to be able to crawl around in here, much better than the dirt. Like I said, I'll probably use my my creeper for getting underneath the truck. I'll put that in here, roll around. We're getting ready to do the rest of these floor joists, and then we're going to put our 3/4 plywood in for the subfloor.